Watch this!
There are cartoon characters we all love, but have you ever imagined how some of them would look as humans? It's easier to imagine when we see some really cool versions, like this one of Nick and Judy from Zootopia, drawn as regular people. We see that Nick became a redhead, which makes sense since he's a red fox, and Judy has gray hair and 2 braids, matching her 2 bunny ears in human form. Actually, this is just one version of this fantastic duo, because we have this one where Nick hasn't joined the police yet. Look how cool it turned out. Liked it, right? That's why we've gathered 25 Disney characters in human form for you to check out with us. Wade Elemental, without a doubt, the most optimistic and, we have to say, teary-eyed character in Disney also has a human version. In this image, you can see how the city inspector made of water would look if he were a human like us. And the result is this. Look how the chin is practically identical, and the smile too. Very cool indeed. There's also a second version of Wade that looks super cool. Just look at how well this other version matches Wade. We don't have a human version of him crying, at least not yet. Who knows, maybe Grace, who created this version, will make him cry later. Grace, you did a great job. Simba and Nala, the Lion King, the heir to the Lion King's throne and his beloved companion, stars of one of the most successful films in history, also have their human versions. We all know that the Lion King story takes place in Africa, so it's only natural that both Simba and Nala have versions consistent with the ethnicity of the continent where humanity originated. And I have to say, it turned out simply sensational. But another artist imagined another version of these 2 characters, and it looks really cool in this second image that depicts a moment when Nala is leaning on her beloved's shoulder. Both of them turned out really cool. Congratulations to the artists. 2 masterpieces. Timone and Pumba. Since we talked about the King and Queen a little while ago, now let's talk about the best subjects. Timone and Pumba were so successful in the 1994 film that they got their own animated series the following year. And if you haven't watched it, you should, because it's really cool. But what we really want is to show you the human version of the creators of Hakuna Matata. And, as usual, they have several versions, each one better than the last. Just look at this one where Timone is eating an insect. And there's this one where they look very much like their original versions. And this other one, more Generation Z, which a lot of people loved. Blue and Jewel. Rio. Speaking of adorable couples, we have to mention the cutest parrot couple in animation and their incredible human versions. Being native to Brazil, both Blue and Jewel were portrayed with darker skin tones, natural for a place with such intense sun as Rio de Janeiro, and a people as joyful as Brazilians. Look how simply beautiful Jewel turned out. It's almost like they're ready to start carnival already. Lightning McQueen. Cars. If there's one thing that many people would love to see, it's the beloved car from the world of animation as a human. If you're one of those people, like me, your wait has just ended. This is Lightning McQueen as a human wearing a racing jumpsuit in the best NASCAR style that exists. Seriously, this version is so unbelievably good. If they ever make a live-action version of Cars, I hope McQueen looks like this. It would be really cool. Crazy Tom was responsible for this masterpiece. Ember Elemental. Surely the hottest woman in all of Disney couldn't be left out of this list. Ember human version is just the way practically everyone who saw her in the movie or in the trailers imagined. With red hair, the color of fire of course, and a dress identical to the one she wears. This version looks just like Ember. Even her tan skin tone matches her true elemental nature. This version was also made by Grace. Really cool. But there's also another version of Ember with Asian features, since we know that the Fire Nation, of which she is a part, is inspired by Oriental culture. For this reason, this version of Sparky makes a lot of sense and looks super cool. But now I'm in doubt, and I want your help. Which one do you think is cooler? Comment below which of the 2 versions do you think suits Sparky better. If it's the first one, put hashtag red. If it's the second one we showed, put hashtag Oriental. Let us know below. Dory and Hank. Finding Dory. If you've never imagined what Dory would look like as a human, now you'll not only imagine it, but also see it. This is definitely the most similar and compatible version of Dory as a real person. Look how the blue dress suits her, and the facial features too. Man, it looks really cool. But do you remember Hank, the 7-tentacled octopus that helps Dory find her family? Check out this awesome human version of him. The bored panda did both artworks. Congratulations. Gail and Fern. Elemental. In our list, we couldn't leave out the spirited Windbreakers fan, and Wade's boss of course. Her version is simply beautiful. Look how her pink hair perfectly matches the character, who is a pink cloud. It's perfect. Speaking of the most fanatic fan, literally, of all, is our dear Fern. Despite his calm appearance, he's also crazy about the Windbreakers, and his human version is just like him. Really friendly and amiable. Lady and the Tramp. Now it's time to revisit one of Disney's most iconic classics when it comes to romantic pairs. We have the street-smart vagabond and the pampered lady. who form an unlikely couple when they meet on the streets. And look how their human versions turned out. Simply sensational. Lady's hair matches her fur, just like the gray hair of Vagabond matches his fur too. This was definitely one of the most perfect adaptations. Donkey. Shrek. Let's step out of the Disney world for a moment, but with an honorable mention. Shrek already has his human version in the movie, so we won't bring it up. But Donkey just turned into a beautiful steed, since we were missing seeing how the faithful friend of the most beloved ogre in animation would look. And here we have his completely human version, and man, it looks really cool. The smile is simply identical, and the face shape is really nice. Lewis, the Princess and the Frog. Among Disney princess stories, one with the most lively music is The Princess and the Frog, and much of that is thanks to the friendliest alligator in the Louisiana swamps and his trumpet-playing blues like no one else. So he deserved a human version worthy of a traditional blues musician. And look how cool Lewis looks as a human. Just looking at it makes you want to start dancing. Man, I love this alligator. But just this one. The others can stay in the swamps. Max. The Secret Life of Pets. One of the animations that marked my life the most was The Secret Life of Pets, because, after all, who doesn't love their pet, right? So I've always wondered what Max would look like in a human version. So I found this version of him that looks really awesome, and it's just like him, with the hair color and the dog-like expression when he doesn't understand what he's seeing. I really like this human version. Bernie and Cinder. Elemental. Back to the fantastic world of Elemental, we also have the humanized versions of Ember's parents. As we know, they came from a distant land to the Element City, so they should be a bit different. So we have this version of him when he left his parents' land, that is, a little younger. The same goes for Cinder, whose version will show when Ember was still in her belly waiting to come into the world. Very cool. Mr. Krabs. SpongeBob SquarePants. Few people love money as much as the owner of the Krusty Krab, so it's clear that if he became human, that would never ever change, right? So believe me, his version as the creator of the real Krabby Patty would be exactly as you're seeing it now. Seriously, I can't imagine him any other way. This adaptation is perfect. Sandy, SpongeBob SquarePants. Man, I've always wanted to know what Sandy would look like on dry land, but as a human, not as a squirrel. And I have to tell you, I was surprised at how this version of her really suits her. The hair is the same color as her fur, her outfit when she's in her underwater dome, and of course, her squirrel teeth, which look really cool. Seriously, I would love to see Sandy playing some Texas music as a human. Red, Angry Birds. And to end on a high note, we have the grumpiest bird of them all. But that's how we like him, right? And if he's grumpy as a bird, he would certainly be grumpy as a human too, wouldn't he? That's why his version is spectacular. Look how the thick black eyebrows are just right, and how the shades of red in his outfit are simply the same as his feathers. Man, it's even better than I had imagined in my head. I wouldn't want to bump into either of the two reds if I found any of them around, would you? These were the 25 cartoon characters and their super cool human versions. I'll tell you, several of them really surprised me, but there's something else that will surprise you. This next video I've picked out for you. Click on it and check it out, because it's a lot of fun.